This next conversation is about how technology is shaping the future of firefighting. And from Draeger, I'm joined by Gary Walsh, Specialist Advisor. Hi, Gary.
Morning, Ella.
And Kevin Barton, the Account Manager.
Morning, Ella.
So, you've spent, Gary, over 30 years now on the fireground, but that's before joining Draeger. But how has that frontline experience shaped the way that you approach firefighter safety today?
I think fundamentally, for the ownership of the piece of kit, the breathing apparatus kit, has always been very important to me, from a firefighter all the way through command posts, all the way up to chief fire officer. And then when I got the opportunity, when I was a senior officer in the fire service, to take a lead for respiratory protection equipment with the National Fire Chiefs Council, I took it with two hands, really. And I was that lead for 7 years. And it was influencing the suppliers in terms of the kit that's being provided, but the real focusing on the wearer and the BA set. And that's the important thing, and how that can be used both as a piece of equipment, but also part of the wider incident command at an incident. I've seen reports on firefighting fatalities and injuries, which is all learning that Draeger as a company will listen to. And that's why I was really happy to get involved with Draeger at this particular stage in my career.
That's it, because you have been drawn to working with Draeger. But what are some of the innovations that you're most excited about?
I think the move to digital world in terms of use of breathing apparatus. You know, NFCC, National Fire Chiefs Council, talk about digital and data. They talk about how the operational field can be improved by the use of equipment that's connected, the connected firefighter, communications, building situation awareness by understanding what's going around, not just the firefighter wearing the kit, wearing the breathing apparatus, but the entry control officer who wants information about the status of the firefighter, and the incident commander who has to make decisions. And if firefighters are needing to make decisions on a regular basis when they're deployed in breathing apparatus, the more information they can give themselves from the kit means they're making the right decisions and improving their safety.
And Kevin, you've got Draeger's Fireground, UCF Firecore and FPS Convoys, and they're making real waves in firefighting technology. Can you walk us through what makes each one of those special?
Yeah, so touching on Gary's points about sort of digitalising the fireground, our telemetry system, the next generation telemetry, is called Fireground, and it's an app-based system with the ability to add digital notes, more information from the firefighter, to ultimately make it easier for the entry control officer to understand the wearers and their status. That is all then transferred up to the cloud if the fire service wants that, and then incident command can see that as live monitoring as well as post-incident data. So that's moving forward. That's evolving as we move forward as well. And that forms a platform for other digital products that are in development currently. And that's all to do with firefighter safety. On the UCF Firecore, that's the award-winning hands-free thermal imaging camera. So it's a camera which fits the helmet, and you have an in-mask display which shows the thermal image to the wearer. So if you think of a firefighter who's managing the hose and the branch, they now have a real image of the scene in thermal image. So you see the hot spots and it's there. So there's no need to put the branch down, pick up the thermal imaging camera, have a look around and scan the area. It's there live. So it makes their life a lot easier. And the third product there, which is the FPS Com, that's our newest mask communication system. That was released about 4 weeks ago. And this is a device which makes speech clarity clearer. So it makes it easier for the firefighter to understand radio communications on the fireground.
Well, Gary, I guess following on from what Kevin was saying, situational awareness is obviously so important. How do you feel like these products help firefighters stay informed and make faster, safer decisions? It sounds like it all feeds into a really important ecosystem there.
So all of those products that Kevin's just described, the Firecore, the integrated comms, they're all hands-free. So fundamentally, because they're paired to the set itself, for instance, on the integrated, the in-mass display, it can show you the cylinder contents without having to lift up your gauge to look at your gauge. So you're creating this hands-free environment by using digital technology, which means that the firefighter can concentrate on their operational requirements in an incident, and also they can communicate between each other using the communications within a team and back to entry control, ideally hands-free, so as they've got their hands free to do what they're being asked to do as in the instance itself. So it's coordinating all of that situation awareness with the hands-free options, giving them greater awareness of what's happening around them.
I mean, and communication, it is so important. I mean, Kevin, it really sounds like these developments are really facilitating that communication in a really fast, effective way.
Absolutely. I mean, it's well documented that fireground radio comms, communications, has been criticised heavily in the past, and that's for any manufacturer and radio manufacturer. That's a fact. It's well documented. So, with the new Convoice, like I said earlier, it's a simple device. It's easy to attach to the mask. It provides clear communications, both transmitting and receiving from the entry control and other wearers as well. So really excited about that. And obviously Draeger do other communication systems as well. So we've got 3 in our portfolio now, with the Convoice being our newest. So there's something there for every fire service, really, depending on what they want, as in features, etc. So.
And firefighting, it's physically and it's mentally extremely demanding. Are Draeger working on any products to help in that well-being space?
Yeah, absolutely. That's fundamentally our research and development department always look at how can we make our breathing apparatus device more comfortable, and we've done that with the Airboss Connect system by taking weight out of the system through design. We've made it more comfortable for the wearers as well, both male and female, because they're different size frames. And yeah, it's we take that very seriously, because it isn't gone are the days where you only get a male firefighter. There's male, female, different sizes, like I say. So if you take weight out of the system, you make it more comfortable. That relieves the stress and fatigue on the firefighter, and ultimately it gives them a better well-being for wearing BA, because BA is an integral part. They can't do their job without breathing apparatus. So to make it as comfortable and lightweight, and so you don't feel it on your back when you're wearing it. That's that's utopia, like, in a way. But and obviously with the Type 4 cylinders now, to get the most benefit of that lighter weight, then that brings the weight right down then. So like I say, that reduces the fatigue and stress and increases the well-being.
And what would you say, Gary, have been some of the recent innovations that you feel are having the biggest impact on firefighter safety, and not only now, but also that you can see in the forthcoming years?
From a Draeger perspective, there have been a couple of products that are still in development. Okay. There's the firefighter locator, which is about attaching a piece of equipment to a firefighter and then being able to locate them in a fire. Now, we know there's been a number of incidents involving firefighters over the years where location of firefighters has been difficult, even though information is being provided. So that's a real key prospect. We're at the point now of trialing this on a couple of fire and rescue services in their training centre to gather more information about how it looks and how it feels, how it can be used in an operational sense in terms of how people make decisions. It's about making decisions. And the other one, a key one, has always been about collecting information on the firefighter's heart rate and core body temperature. So what we call physiological strain monitoring, and then how we transfer that information. So it has to be a device that fits. We're not saying it's ready now, but it has to be a device that fits, that works, collects that data, and then again both of those pieces of equipment, which innovation going forward for Draeger, will provide more information, both for the wearer, for the engine control officer, and the incident commander, and make decisions on the safety of firefighters who've been deployed in breathing apparatus in an incident itself.
So you've been involved in national standards and guidance for respiratory protective equipment. What trends do you see in how fire services adopt new technology, Gary?
I think one of the difficulties for National Fire Chief Councils and Fire and Rescue Services, the pace at which innovation in terms of technology is going ahead, and trying to maintain that pace and understanding across different services. And therefore we see that in discussions with them, have different ideas about how they want to apply technology onto the operational field, how they want to look at breathing apparatus and its use in the operational field, what information they want, where they want the information. And then at the same time, change in operational guidance and national operational guidance. Those things have to come together. And the reason for that is suppliers like Draeger need to understand where fire services want to go with their equipment, so as we can provide the right equipment that suits their needs across their whole range of resources in terms of funding, often about who can afford it, but actually how can we make sure that that's the right thing for fire and rescue services. Talking to them nationally through the suppliers, through ourselves, and engaging in them on what the future looks like in terms of the digital and data world.
And with all your experience kind of before Draeger and working with Draeger, from your perspective, what is the biggest challenge that fire services face when it comes to integrating new tech? And how can companies like Draeger support them?
Well, let's look at breathing apparatus, for instance. So breathing apparatus works on the basis of management on the incident ground based on a tally system. Tally system was introduced after the Smithfield fire in the early 1960s, 70 years old. There's a cultural connection around the use of that tally, okay, which means suppliers are still having to work to that system but wanting to develop their kit. So we have to work with the fire service to get them to understand how to move that comfort blanket into the digital world, to give them the information that they need, and get them to realise that it is robust and stable and it does work for them, and moving away from some of those old cultural ways of managing breathing apparatus on the incident ground itself.
And Kevin, for anybody that's interested in trying some of Draeger's products firsthand, what's the best way to get involved?
Yeah, we're on stand D180, and we've got all of our products, all our firefighting products portfolio on show there. Our team of experts are more than happy to discuss, with customers. I'm interested fire services on where they are, where they want to be, and look forward to speaking to people this afternoon.
Brilliant. Kevin, Gary, lovely to see you. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you,
Thank
Ella.
you.
Thank you.